I guess when you put it that way. I mean, you got eaten by a T-Rex. That's much worse than...
Chewed me up and spit me out.
Did it hurt?
Yeah, must have.
Nice.
Well, if you are lucky enough to have a skilled surgeon, the whole ordeal might take less than a minute, though there is no shortage of horror stories of the process taking longer, like the surgeon whose saw got stuck in the bone and refused to budge. And even the lucky patients who didn't suffer any complications were barely able to describe the experience. As George Wilson, who had his ankle disarticulated in 1843, described 4 years after the event, quote,
"The horror of great darkness and the sense of desertion by God and man, bordering close on despair, which swept through my mind and overwhelmed my heart, I can never forget, however gladly I would do so."
I like my ankles fully articulated. I don't want them disarticulated.
It's when the skin separates from the joint.
I don't like skinning.
I don't like any of it.
I mean, I don't like any of it, but in particular, I've never really enjoyed when people talk about skinning or scalping or any of that stuff.
I once saw...
Why are you laughing? What's wrong with you? I think Arya's a serial killer.
It'd be kind of funny.
No, it wouldn't.
No. Speaking of skinning, I once saw a very funny image, which I'll show you later, Professor, if you want. I can show you in a moment of the green M&M skinning herself, and she's...
Oh, this is because people were lusting after her, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In this scenario, was the green skin kind of like clothes, or were they...
Yes, it was like clothes.
I see.
But that's her skin. That's
her
skin.
Oh, that's really gross. It's really...
Arya loves it.
I'm gonna look at his... He's gonna show it to me on his phone, and I'm gonna see that it's his wallpaper.
I have a bunch of images of her.
While the patient clearly had the short end of the scalpel, an operation wasn't exactly a picnic for the surgeon either. Slicing open a writhing wretch, blood shooting from their severed limbs as they screamed out for death. Look, you need to be prepared for such things. Unfortunately, training young doctors was extremely difficult in Victorian England. Hey, why? A lack of practice cadavers. B, interference from the church. Or C, 19th century heebie-jeebies about blood. Much to think about. My smart boys.
Don't call us your boys.
They're smart little guys.
Locked in.
I'm gonna go with B, problems with the church. Time and time again, it seems like religion hates science, so I'm gonna just kind of ride that train.
Yes, I'm going with B as well. I concur. You know, they always like to meddle in the affairs.
B-boys! That's a sort of sneakers on the court. Our second best bit.
Just don't acknowledge it, and maybe he'll shut
Our
up.
second best bit. Hey, points to neither of you.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's right. Oh, sorry.
You need to be nasty about it.
Yes, in the early 1800s, getting your hands on a dead body was tough work.
People were dying left and right. How could they not? That's like a buffet.
They weren't preserving them very well.
That makes more sense.
There was a lot going on. There was also laws against dissection that meant that in 1823, for instance, instructors in Great Britain
Do I have a loop?
almost
Do I have a
2,000
loop-de-loop?
students
Okay.
with fewer than
I fixed the
100
loop-de-loop.
legally obtained bodies.
If I was a serial killer living back in the day, I would just become a doctor.
I mean, that's smart, honestly.
No one would get after you for malpractice like nowadays. Not that I've ever had this fantasy and played it out, but I'm just saying if I was going to do it, that's how I would do it.
What if that was what Jack the Ripper was doing?
He was just obsessed with killing, doing it on the clock and working after hours. That guy was working after hours like Drake. Drake's not a murderer.
Allegedly, as far as we know.
Professor, you've already gotten tagged up once for a defamation lawsuit. I don't think you want another one.
Oh, right, you're right.
Drake is not a murderer. All right, moving along. Winnie, nay, clock clip, scared of snakes, etc. Oh, hey there, Dorothy Ruth. Hello, Professor. You know, I know you've got a lesson to get to, but I simply had to gallop over here to thank Healing Sleep for sponsoring this video. Professor, did you know that the average horse only sleeps about 2.9 hours a day? What? That's crazy, right? It's like... what are we doing? Anyway, as I've mentioned, I've actually hit the dating scene after the lucky death of my husband, Stanley Melvin. So, I've actually been spending a lot more time in bed lately. Thankfully, Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs. And they're conveniently shipped right to your door. Oh, nice. And actually, my old mattress really stinks and I could use an upgrade. Here's my friend Meredith helping me set up. Look at it. Look at how easy it is. Look at that. Wow. Oh my gosh. It was a breeze. What a good friend. Helix has a sleep quiz that matches your unique body type and sleep preferences to make the perfect mattress for you. They've got something for everybody. And if you sleep with a partner, you can even take the quiz together to find something that suits you both. Based on my results, Helix matched me with a midnight luxe. I'm a lonesome side sleeper, and I love a medium firmness. Not too soft, not too hard. I also opted for the Glacier Tex coating, which keeps the mattress nice and cool in the summer. Wow, it sounds like I gotta get my fully corporeal paws on one of these mattresses. Well, it also comes with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty.
There we go. That's a proper question. This, I'm stitching up pajama pants because I got these flannel nightgowns, but they're like a little bit too long for my liking. So I was like, instead of throwing them away, you know, I could just like cut them up, turn them into a pair of like pajamas, shirt and pant set. And I have a sewing machine, but it's technically my sister's, and like it's a very complicated machine. And I don't know where the manual is, and I'm not a tech savvy person. So
Enterprising resurrectionists, aka body snatchers,
yeah, so I'm like stitching in like a drawstring for the pants.
Ben Crouch, admitting he had
Loki?
one span of 4 nights where he secured
Hey, Loki,
23
hold on.
bodies. Over the 1811 school term,
Gotta let my cat in.
his team was responsible for delivering 406 bodies, each averaging a payment of £7. In today's money, it meant that after expenses like bribes, a body snatcher
was a
could
very awkward
conservatively net
position.
$40,000 a year.
Hey, Lolo.
And a strong stomach. I mean, in a way, it's positive because they're helping advance medical knowledge.
It's true. They weren't getting bodies anywhere else.
But yeah, so it's the drawstring for the pants. And this is my cat, Loki.
This is a little IOU note.
Yeah, it's just like BRB, needed body.
Are you guys going to donate your bodies to science?
And I'm also watching Puppet History.
Although I watched a video recently by Johnny Harris about
So.
the illegal organ and body trade.
Hey, Salt!
Sometimes if you donate your body to the wrong, or you leave it to the wrong organization, like it can be sold out to be shown in like.
How goes it, my guy?
Like there was a
I didn't see you earlier at the Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah, interesting. And no, and they were performing surgeries on it too.
What?
I know. Wow.
When I die, can you just toss me into one of those claw machines?
I'd rather toss you into a T-Rex mouth.
You already did
Are you
that.
hungry, Bubbas?
Well, as grim a business
Do you want me
as
to
it
feed
sounds,
you?
without the body snatchers,
'Cause
it
I
really
can.
would have been almost impossible to give budding doctors any
I just
hands-on
didn't know when
experience.
you were gonna come
No matter how
inside.
real that experience was in
You
the
want
first
some
place.
food? You want me to
Since
get you some
doctors had
num-nums?
only
Okay,
bare-bones
hold on.
training, it meant that,
Let me
and
put
remains
this to
true
the
today,
side.
The most important factor when
Ugh.
going under the knife was who your surgeon was. And in the first half of the 1800s, there was no better surgeon.
It's a history
than
show
Robert
with
Liston.
puppets.
Why? Because the success rate was.
Hold on,
25%
hold
or
on.
something.
Well, let's find out. Robert Liston was born on October 28th, 1794, in the manse of Ecclesmuck in Linlithgoshire. His father, Henry Liston, was a minister and gave Robert most of his early schooling. At age 16, Robert became an assistant to
Answer
Dr.
what?
John
I already said what I was
Professor of
doing.
Anatomy and physiology, and began training as a doctor in
If you
both
can't
England
grasp
and
your
London,
head around the
joining
simple
Royal College of Surgeons
explanation,
of
then
England
I
at age
cannot help
24.
you.
He soon gained a reputation
I have
as a
hands
skillful surgeon,
that I am
taking
hand
on patients
stitching.
that the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh deemed inoperable.
That is the
Patients would
answer.
camp out in his offices for days in the hopes of getting a consultation, and Liston tried to see every one of them.
One time I camped out 12 hours to see The Dark Knight at midnight. Worth it. So I imagine this guy was also worth it. You ever camp out for anything, Mario?
No, I've never camped out for anything.
Not even to camp in the woods?
I'm not a big camping boy.
What's the longest line you've ever waited in?
There you go, look.
Disneyland lines.
Sure.
Yeah,
You gotta get that fast pass, bro.
That's true.
Hey, what helped make Liston such a good surgeon? A, hands so steady they never once slipped. B, a mind so sharp he had every published text on medicine memorized.
Ah.
Or C, he was big.
What?
Big in what sense?
Yeah, like, is he big in terms of stature, or like,
Big guy.
the guy's an
Okay.
absolute fucking unit?
Okay, Brian, what do you got?
I went with C. Just an absolute fucking unit of a man. just think it's really funny that people back then would think, oh, he's a great doctor because he's so large.
All right, what do you got?
I got a big boy too. I got a big boy with an eye.
Oh, sound the alarms! We got a couple sea dogs out there.
Oh,
That's good.
I
That's
see
good.
what's going
Okay,
on.
we're gonna find out the meaning of the magic of theater. I'll be right back. Bye.
I hope we see a really big puppet.
Excuse me, is this the office of Robert Liston? My leg is shattered, and if it isn't removed, I'm as good as dead.
Hi, this is Robert Liston's office, but you'll have to wait in line. I've been here for a day now, hoping he'd chop off me messed up foot.
I hear the doctor's the smartest man to ever live.
Not sure about that.
Well, I've also heard his hands are so true that he's never made a horrible mistake, like cutting off someone's balls on accident.
Well, I've heard the opposite.
Well, then what is it that makes Dr. Liston so great?
Goodbye.
Whoa!
Oh, absolute fucking unit.
Holy shit, Robert Liston is huge. No wonder everybody wants him to operate on them.
Well, I'm wondering, do you think that Liston was he juicing up?
All
I
right,
think
so
so.
He's natural.
I think that guy was just slaying a bunch of pigs and eating the fuck out of them every day.
Whoa! Points to both of ya! You're a
Hooray.
big guy. Big guy.
Yeah, when the job description is physically restraining your patient and then putting your back into sawing through their bones, the bigger the doctor, the better. And Robert Liston was a whopping 6'2". It was Victorian England, remember? Everything was a little bit smaller.
Oh, so like by today's standards, he was like a 7-foot boy.
That's like 3 inches shorter than Shane Bidet. If Shane was a doctor back in the day, they would have stood in line for him.
Maybe. Now, Robert Liston wasn't only tall, he was also relatively clean, which was notable for a time when one of the main explanations given for illness wasn't bacteria, but instead, you must have pissed God off. Liston was insistent that limbs be shaved before operating, that surgical sponges be washed before surgery, and that he wash his own hands before sticking them inside of a person. Revolutionary stuff, though he did have this silly habit of holding a bloody knife in his mouth when his hands were otherwise occupied. Listen, we've all
Ew.
got our own gross little habits.
I mean, 3 for 4.
Yeah,
You know,
sort of ahead of the curve without even knowing it.
that's crazy. Because you just said germ theory had just come. Was it just breaking onto the scene by the time
let's
this
see.
guy
I
was out?
should
didn't even have it yet.
Oh, wow,
really
so he really was ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
get a tripod that's more flexible for stuff like this.
Makes sense when you'll likely be responsible for the single most traumatic minute of a person's life. As Liston wrote, a surgeon, quote, must consider his labor only begun when the operation is finished. The patient is yet to be conducted by kindness and judgment through the process of cure.
It's a nice thought, but I don't think bedside manner really comes into play when you're ripping muscle off the bone. It's not going to help me if you're like, are you feeling any pain?
What he's getting at, without I think even realizing it, is that they'll probably have some sort of post-traumatic stress
Oh, of course, yeah.
resulting from it, and that they should be looked after and tended to for their mental health afterwards.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought we were talking
Alright,
about
I'm putting
bedside
this
manner
back
while he was
over
doing
like
the
here.
I'm sure he just did that as quickly as possible.
Probably looked good while doing it.
I mean, with a knife in his mouth, it's kind of sexy.
I know, if he was doing it shirtless or something, I imagine, now I understand the line.
Well, on top of all this, of course, Liston was also a crackerjack surgeon, the fastest saw in the kingdom, able to perform an above-the-knee amputation in under 30 seconds. Though this wasn't known at the time, speed meant a body's insides had less time exposed to the operating theater's germ-riddled air.
Oh my god, I forgot this was happening in a fucking theater.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I
Wait
didn't
a
even realize
second.
what's happening.
Now that I think about that, they probably made a killing on tickets. If this guy is jacked and probably handsome, and he's sitting there like, foot up, just doing this, I'm sure people were in that theater.
I mean, I'm sure sometimes maybe they let people from the public come in, but a lot of times it was like at medical schools where trainees would watch. You know? Or, I don't know, maybe you could pay. Who knows?
People were sick back then. Not a lot of entertainment.
Honestly, if I were alive at this time, I think I'd pay money to go see this.
I wonder though, like, would he, since there's such quick sessions, is it like you do bundle like multiple back-to-back showings? Like,
Maybe.
you just pay for a 1 30-second show?
Bundle?
3 amputations for the price of 1. That's the best I can do. That's the best I can do.
Liston's track record spoke for itself. While working at London's University College Hospital, around 10% of his patients died on the table, compared to a nearby hospital where 25% of patients were lost. It's easy to see why patients waited days for the privilege to be hacked to bits by old Bobby Liston.
25%, that's a hefty amount.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
10% also a little unnerving, but 25, you know,
Yeah.
you're going in a place with a 1 in 4 chance of dying on the table. I'll wait in line. Liston also wrote 2 textbooks on surgery and invented several surgical implements to aid him, including the Liston splint and locking forceps, which are still
Get a little
used
bit
today.
closer.
Impressive. Liston was known to quarrel regularly with other doctors and held his assistants to an extremely high standard. His combativeness was at least framed around what was the best care for a patient. And he made sure his assistants knew there was no ill will by inviting them
Is
to his
this
home for
exciting?
dinner.
No.
Still, the good doctor
Do I
did
get some
develop
enjoyment
a
out of this? Yes.
Surgeries in the Victorian era often took place in a literal theater. Liston would call out to the crowd before his first incision, "Gentlemen, time me." For their part, the audience withdrew their pocket watches and obliged.
I feel like the one person that wouldn't have fun is probably the patient.
I was about to say.
Take your time, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. If I'm sitting strapped down, being held down by orderlies, the last thing I want the guy with the fucking giant knife to be like is, "Time me." It's pretty rude, honestly.
It's rude.
And they're awake. They can hear it all.
But again, if I'm in the audience, I'm loving it.
Oh, sure, yeah, but surgery should be an audience of one.
Now, while Robert Liston was the best, he of course wasn't perfect. Once, in Liston's haste to remove a leg, his knife took a testicle along with it. Oops.
He accidentally cut someone's balls off?
Allegedly, that may have happened, yeah.
What do you mean allegedly? I'm gonna need a firm yes or no on
It's
that.
rumored to have happened.
What was he aiming for?
I'm going to assume he was probably aiming for something else.
I don't understand how he missed you. Does he go big stroke? He's a big guy. It's a big stroke. And you actually
Yeah,
miss.
and it's not like the balls could be mistaken for any other body part. They're pretty distinct.
The balls are also like they're under. They're under usually the penis.
I don't know. Look, we've all made mistakes. We've all accidentally chopped people's balls off.
If he lops one of my testicles off,
Yeah.
I'm gonna feel intimidated. I can't complain. I'm not gonna throw up a lawsuit against this guy. He can feel he's very scary.
So you want a little doctor like Doogie Howser?
Yes, because then I can be like, Dougie, what the fuck did you do to my ball?
Yeah, what dude?
I remember that episode.
Another time, when consulting on a neck mass in a child, Liston cockily stabbed it with a knife, believing it to be just an abscess. Turns out it was an aneurysm, which Liston didn't think a boy could suffer from, and the young man bled out. Awkward.
Oof.
Hey, what was Robert Liston's worst surgical mistake? A. He realized he was sawing off the wrong leg halfway through a surgery. B. The patient died, along with 2 other people present. Or C. He mistook a patient for the patient's brother, resulting in both dying.
What?
All right, I think I got it.
Oh, what are your answers?
I'm gonna go with A, good news, bad news. The good news is we cut the leg off. The bad news is it's the wrong one.
I'm also going with A as well.
Oh, double A's!
You know, I just imagine that in his haste, you know, he's probably grandstanding and he's like, maybe he's looking at the audience like a teppanyaki chef.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, let's find out via the magic of theater. I'll be right back.
I wonder what's the acceptable amount of deaths on your watch for a surgeon nowadays.
Okay, I'm about to remove this dude's leg. Assistant, hold this rascal down. Don't worry, Dr. Liston. I've gotten good at... Ouch! Oh, oops! Looks like you cut my finger off there. That's a problem, I suppose. Ooh! I say, I think your assistant has died of sepsis he caught from that rotten leg you're sawing.
Why is Abraham Lincoln?
What was that? Oh, Jesus, dude. Watch where you're flailing that knife. What'd you say? Oh, God. Did you just cut me with that diseased knife? Oh, sir? Sir? Oh, cripes, I think that dude just died of fear. Oh, no, the patient died of sepsis. Oh, boy, this is not my day.
Bad day at the office.
Very bad day.
Okay, points to neither of you. Sorry. Yes, well, some dispute the authenticity of this story, as you should for any tale where someone dies of fright. But if true, this surgery is thought to be the only one in history with a 300% mortality rate. Yowza!
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, again, I'm guessing it's because of the time limit, but you're swinging that knife around. Very, very scary.
Hey, imagine being at that show.
Now that's getting your money.
That's
Oh,
a hot ticket. The reviews were probably raving the next morning in the paper.
It's like, oh my God, you hear about last week? Arya got tickets to the Triple H.
Now remember, this was from the best surgeon alive. With the hurdles of Victorian medicine, there was only so much that skill and a 6'2" frame could get ya. Luckily, a huge advance called the Yankee Dodge was right around the corner.
Hey,
Has
what was the
energy
Yankee
to
Dodge?
turn off
Hey, ether.
keyboard vibrations.
Gloves. Or C,
Wait, your
a
phone has
precursor
keyboard
to blood
vibrations?
transfusion.
I don't know.
Okay, what do you got?
I guess I'm gonna go with A, the ether, just
Ether.
because of that one scene in Blue Velvet. Not one scene, you know what I'm talking about.
I didn't know what ether was, so I didn't go with ether.
Aria?
Surgical gloves.
Surgical gloves.
Yeah.
Well, a point to Beef Boy.
Yay!
First synthesized in 1846 from a mixture of sulfuric acid and alcohol by William Morton, a dentist practicing across the pond in Boston, ether was proving revolutionary in dental procedures. Perhaps it could work for other operations as well. In Victorian surgery, it was no secret that the patient being awake and upset the whole time was affecting outcomes. Some doctors had even experimented with hypnotism, without success, in an attempt to subdue patients. Within weeks of William Morton successfully
dry.
removing a tooth on an ethered patient, Liston saw where the future of medicine was heading, and he ushered it in personally.
So what is it?
Wild.
It's like a gas.
Wild. That's a wild thing.
It's kind of like laughing gas, isn't it?
A little bit. If you have too much of it, it'll
Well, I'm
pass
glad
out.
you got rid of
Let's talk
that.
about the first surgery with ether. On December 21st, 1846, a hastily assembled crowd gathered in the University College of London's operating theatre to watch 36-year-old butler Frederick Churchill lose his leg. His right knee had a bone infection, causing it to swell into a grotesque bend. The leg was coming off. He may as well try to catch some Z's while it happened. You know what? Honestly, at this point, I'm taking it. If the alternative is to be awake while they cut my leg off,
I agree.
I'll give it a whirl. Churchill inhaled from the ether, and within minutes, he was out cold. Liston turned to the crowd, told them to time him, and a mere 28 seconds later, the leg was gone and fully sewn up. Churchill hadn't even flinched. Waking a few minutes later, Churchill's first question was when the surgery was supposed to begin. I imagine, to his great relief, Churchill was shown the stump under his hip, where a leg had once been. The audience was blown away as Liston yelled out, "This Yankee Dodge beats mesmerism hollow." It was a new dawn for medicine, ushered in by one of a greats.
I guess you would have hoped
I took a drawstring out of another pair of sweatpants that had elastic
Checking more of these subsequent shows.
because they have elastic
what you're saying. Yeah, I suppose.
and they fit
Glad the ether
without the drawstring.
Unfortunately, Liston didn't get to
And
see
these
the
are
leaps
very
and bounds that
baggy.
surgery would take in the coming decades. On December 7th, 1847, less than a year
So,
after performing Britain's first surgery with ether,
yeah.
Robert Liston died of a
Yeah.
ruptured aortic aneurysm at age 53. Robert Liston was one of the quickest surgeons to ever live, but he had shown how to make speed obsolete
just
in the OR.
put a
Until
drawstring
ether and its
in
less
these
caustic,
pants.
less explosive cousin chloroform operating on any part of the body was essentially impossible apart from amputation. Now that pain during surgery was no longer standing in the way, however, the field exploded. For almost a century after Frederick Churchill snoozed through his leg being sawn off, journals of medicine published breakthrough after breakthrough in the field of surgery.
Whew.
Now, before ether, amputation mortality rates at Massachusetts General were 19%. What were they after? Now, this is another open-ended question, but I can tell you it's between 1 and 99%. So they were at 19% before anesthesia. Ryan, what do you got?
I'm gonna go 1%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think you're a tricky little sneak.
I am, but that's not the answer. Aria, what do you got?
I originally went with 7, then changed it to a 9.
Okay.
I figured like it went down, but I can't imagine it went down that drastically, that quickly.
Well, you're both wrong. Aria is closest, but with ether, mortality rates actually went up to 23%. What?
Oh, because they probably got a little more ambitious in what they were trying
You
to
know what? Okay, Ryan, you get a jelly bean for
Okay.
that one. You're correct. Well, as Beef Boy,
I haven't stitched in place the drawstring yet, which is good. The last time I attempted to do something like this, I ended up like accidentally sewing in the drawstring itself to where it couldn't be moved, and like I'm very nervous with how the stitches are getting closer to the string itself.
was only just getting started in the late 1850s, and infections were still total mysteries.
On the other hand, though, if they didn't pushed the envelope there, we probably wouldn't have all the advances we have today. So
Oh, for sure.
most surgeries, you're lying on a bed of bodies.
That's right. A mountain of corpses.
So I guess we should be grateful.
We should be grateful for the sacrifice.
Today, in the UK, your odds of dying during scheduled surgery is 1 in 100,000. Literally 10,000 times better than under Robert Liston's knife. It's easy to look back on history and shudder, but it's also important to recognize that we're the future's history. Yeah. Hopefully, progress means that 150 years from now, medicine in this decade will seem barely removed from the time of orderlies holding down our limbs while we cry out for mercy to a deaf and uncaring God.
What's that as a percentage?
I believe that's 0.00001%.
That was a good odds.
Well, do it now. Do some surgery on me.
Never tell me the odds unless it's surgery.
Well, that's about it, folks. What do you guys think of Robert Liston?
That was great. I mean, I love a good showman.
Yeah, the greatest showman.
I was
Take
surprised
that, Hugh Jackman.
And there should be a movie made of this man. I don't
Yeah.
know.
They should just name it that again and make this into a musical.
Yeah.
Imagine someone just fucking spelting out,
From
singing,
now on, while he's
just going to town on a leg and the person screaming is harmonizing. I like it.
That sounds like a Golden Globe winner to me.
Me too.
Well, that concludes our history lesson. I'm going to go tally the scores to see who gets what they have coming to them. Before I do that, though, normally we've got a musical guest, but oh god, this is so embarrassing. We didn't book one in time. Oh no, I'm so bad at my job. Anyway, let me plug in the numbers to the victory algorithm. Boop, boop, boop. Oh wow, Ryan won. Ryan, you did it again! Hooray!
Sorry about that, Aria.
it's okay.
yeah,
I'm just happy to be here.
Valiantly played, though. Ryan, we actually ran out of moisturizer for today's episode, so today's prize is a big ol' hit of Puppet Vape. It's super unhealthy and dangerous, but oh boy, is it tasty after a long day of thinking. And you've been doing a lot of thinking this season, so come on, it's good and healthy. You'll love it.
Well, it is the 5th episode.
It's the 5th episode.
You wouldn't
I
do
need
it.
you for the 6th, you know?
You wouldn't do anything crazy on camera.
No. Take a big hit of that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. You want some? Is this an indica or is it?
Oh,
There you go. Aria, Aria, I don't know if it's your...
yeah, you have to drive after.
You gotta drive.
Yeah. Probably not the
Whoa.
best. What flavor is this? Yankee Dodge.
Hey, you got that photo of the green M&M on your phone?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Hold up.
Oh.
Oh yeah. I got to scroll up through my.
Scroll through. Wow, you got a lot of them on there.
Oh, I've got different characters. You mean Wally?
I've never seen Wally like that.
Wow.
So it's all these-
Wally's circuit's fully exposed.
Hold up. Give me one moment. I got the Mucinex demon too.
Mucinex?
Mucinex. Okay, I'm gonna show you this. This is definitely not camera friendly. Well, I've got several options of it. Well, this is the one with the skin.
Well, that's interesting.
Rise and shine, old pal of mine!
Damn it, I knew you were up to something.
Oh no, you're on to me! Whatever am I going to do? I guess I'll just never untie you!
What is happening? Who are you?
Oh, now you want to learn about the past! Go figure! Alright, fine! Welcome, one person, to your demise! Today we're taking an ever-winding look at how Ryan Vergara is going to die so I can inhabit his flesh. Let's crack in! Now, to begin, Rick, you remember when you calmed the real professor into his death last season? And remember that genie killed all those other puppets? Well, in Purgatory, their approximation of souls had a little funeral for their beloved professor. And as part of the ceremony, I was a hologram, programmed to try to soothe their sadness. And I did an incredible job. I gave a distinguished and stirring performance, and everyone felt very good afterwards. Now, after the memorial, those damned puppets really put up a stink about the whole mess and begged the Joker-fied cosmic being known as God to undo everything. He was sympathetic, but stressed that he was still really exhausted from that Suez Canal prank he pulled, which he described as, quote, David Blaine level stuff. So, he insisted he gotta take a little 1,000-year nap. But says the puppets can send one representative back to reality to sort the whole mess out. And the puppets, oh, those stupid, simple puppets, elected me, the hologram, figuring, hey, I've got the professor's thoughts and memories. If anybody can mend calamity, it's the professor. So, then what happened? Well, no history point for you. May your deep-shaped soul suffer unending torments in the deepest chasms of hell. May your bones shatter and your lungs fill with black hole.
That's great. Thank you for reading for us today.
Oh, okay. I can take it again if you've got any notes.
Honestly, it was great. We'll be in touch.
I can tone down the bile stuff if you're going for a younger demo or...
As I said, we'll be in touch.
Oh, I get it. Cool. Okay, huge waste of time.
Who the fuck are we gonna get to host this show? Oh my god. Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's me, the professor. What? Hey, big fan. I'm the estranged producer of this show. I don't know that we've met. Didn't Ryan mention you were tossed into dinosaur times? I'm surprised to see you in the flesh. Yes, I was sent to help. Flesh? Yeah, flesh. How did you even... Well, hey, you know what? I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. You're here. That's all that counts. Season 5, baby, it's back on. I got to tell NordVPN. Oh.
Yes. Flesh must become corporeal. Must taste jelly beans.
So here I
What
am. It's a lot of
is-
detail, but I will not be issuing an apology for the rich complexity of my fascinating life. Anyway, what happens next? A, I cut your skin off with a little knife. B, I adhere your skin to my cute little body and finally know what it's like to feel. Or C, with my wonderful little hands covered in real skin, I'll finally rub the dreamland and wish for a soul, for all food on earth to be jelly beans, and for all living creatures to be turned into puppets.
I'd say all of the above, but you don't have the lamp. I tried to buy it and I got outbid.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, you got there all by yourself, a jelly bean for the big boy. Oh, speaking of.
Hey, guy. Oh, sorry, you shooting? We got a package for concupiscence. Oh, Connie, here you go. Hey, buddy.
Look at that.
Is this yours? Okay.
Right
Oh, a
there.
little lamp. That's nice. Hey. All right. Good luck here.
Are you not... Shane,
I'm not getting involved
hey,
in
are
this.
you not seeing this?
Thank you, Shane.
You're not gonna get away with this.
A run jelly bean for the beef boy. I am going to get away with that.
Oh. Hey, look, it's been a rough day. I've got a Cracker Jack idea. It wouldn't be a puppet history episode without a dumb little ditty. So let's turn that little frown upside down with the preferred performance from your humble substitute. Who's that? I asked the friendly face in the mirror. Oh, sharp glasses, little bow tie and a hat. The answer couldn't be any clearer. I'm the spitting image of your favorite fuzzy host, and I'm the best you got considering his asses close. But that just might no one can see. Turns out I'm just a nasty hologram. I think, at least I think, therefore I kind of think that I am. Well, the stick has got me halfway to corporeal. I can kick and bite, but it'd be nice to feel for real. So I'll cut you up and wear you like a suit. That's right, I'll come. Make an outfit of my own, but also brush your kids. Everyone inside me, your shredded skin. There ain't nothing that this puppet can do. I'm gonna make one hell of a me out of the pieces of
The Switch. Yeah. I don't know. The puppet history's a trip, bro. And I'm just like sitting here flabbergasted. Damn, the professor is a nasty little guy. Oh, shit. Am I about to see the death of Ryan?
Song sucked. I mean it this time.
Oh, that cuts deep. I'll remember that when I'm carving you up. Speaking of, you hang tight while I grab my adorable little knife. I'll be right back.
Hey, somebody help me!
Oh, what's all the commotion?
There's a mouse.
Those studio rats are trying to catch some Z's, big fella.
Yeah, cool. I don't have a lot of time to explain, but just can you come over here and shoot through these ropes?
No.
He's gonna kill me if you don't. He's a madman.
Rope doesn't sound too tasty. As an omnivore, I mostly eat fruits, vegetables, meat, and when I'm very stressed, my own children.
Okay, well, how about this? How about if I get Steve Lim to cook you a custom dish on Dish Fantasy?
Whoa. You talking about Big Apple Steve?
Yep, the Big Apple Steve.
Whoa, now that sounds like a sweet deal. All right, you got it. Let me get my little peep around that room.
Back here.
Look, man, that's what hand stitching is all about. It lasts forever. Gotta make them stitches fun, small, man. So, did Hologram Professor just kill Ryan?
Welcome one and all to Puppet History. Today we'll be taking an ever-winding look at yet another chapter in the heavy book we call History, while our guests ruthlessly compete for the coveted title of History Wizard. I'm your beloved host, the Professor. Thank you. All right, are you ready? Yeah.
They made some pretty unhinged lore for this little YouTube video.
I didn't know you were back. Are we gonna go back to Reno? I mean, now that I'm alive again, I'd love to. Here, let's go. We gotta get drunk. Oh, hell yeah. All right, then without further ado, let's crack in.
Ow, I just pricked my little finger.
Hey, do you deserve a promotion? You've been stuck in the same position for a bit. Time to step up the old corporate ladder. You know, could use a promotion. Your father and I. Oh, did you two find jobs?
Oh, we found jobs everywhere, but other people are already doing them.
Your father was just on his way to an interview, though. Wow, that's great, Dad. Where at?
Yeah, the museum, and I'm gonna knock him dead. Hey, honey, quiz me.
Greatest strength.
My sharp beak.
Greatest weakness.
Yeah, my beak is almost too sharp.
Perfect. They're gonna hire you on the spot, baby.
Your mother's friend Sue works there, and I think she's gonna put in a good word for me.
Sue owes me. Let's just say we were sexual kind of lovers in the fucking way.
A lovely woman.
Anyway, we're off. Good luck with your show, honey.
Unhinged.
Hope it goes well.
Do you
Anyway,
guys just like not talk off camera?
I mean, they're very busy. They got a lot to acclimate to, you know?
Hey man, I just gotta say, there's life after the director says cut. Not for me.
Oh, God.
Well, our subject today knew the bureaucratic grind well. She started from the bottom and steadily worked her way up the ladder at her workplace, which just so happened to be the Chinese Imperial Palace. Our story today is about Wu Zetian, who climbed the unconventional ladder of...
The string is getting shorter, though.
One and only female emperor. Wow. Woo. Woo!
You really put that boom boom to work.
She really did. Now, before we dive in, a familiar disclaimer. The past can be a slippery son of a gun, especially when we're peering back through over a millennia of fact-distorting fog. Sometimes embracing history means accepting the obnoxious fact that it occasionally gets intertwined with legend. But if you're compelled to furrow your brow at the veracity of certain wonders of history, then heed the call, take the dive, pick up a book and dig deep.
I'm hungry.
In case if what you're looking for is just a verifiable list of chronological facts, well, then maybe your teacher shouldn't have this much blue class. Okay?
Well, you know, it was the olden days. We love drama.
Yeah, stuff gets distorted, you know? It's like when Ryan said he saw that tube of toothpaste fly across a room.
I said it got flung, which it did get flung.
Ooh.
It got flung across.
Who flung the toothpaste?
Nobody. It was like on a plastic bag.
You sure it's not a ghost?
I am sure it's a ghost. That's, yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, our story today takes place at the beginning of the Tang Dynasty, which lasted from 618 to 907, and is considered one of the golden ages of Chinese history. The Silk Roads were packed with spicy spices and sexy textiles for trade, diverse religions thrived, and women had an unfortunately rare window of social advancement. Women of the Tang Dynasty were active in political life, rode horses, and often chose their own spouses. Why is that? You know, things get trendy, things fall out of fashion.
Spindle spaghetti?
What, rights for
I don't know.
It's not trendy.
This puppet seems to have
They were like, of course you can't ride a horse.
yarn spaghetti. Well, this professor, the professor, it's on Watcher. I think that's the channel's name. But look up puppet history, and it's a little blue guy in like a safari outfit usually. It's pretty funny, actually. It's got pretty good banter. But he likes to eat jelly beans. And apparently, according to the lore, he just poops jelly beans. And then he eats them because he can't digest them. But he likes jelly beans.
Get a new wife after your first one dies.
I would give it like 2 years. If it's within 1 year, you were cheating on me.
Would you haunt?
And apparently, also, he keeps jelly beans in a little pouch on his little waist. It's pretty cute.
Who they're gonna get buried next to.
Occasionally, people will steal jelly beans.
Petty, I'd be upset if Mari got buried next to her new husband. I'd be pretty pissed. I'd haunt her. I'd haunt new husband.
On the 23rd day of the first moon of 624, this new wife, Lady Yang, gave birth to a daughter, Wu Zhao, in Chang'an City, the capital of the Tang Dynasty. Wu Shiyue wasn't actually Wu Zhao's father. Apparently, Lady Yang was boating with Wu Shiyue on the Jialing River when a black dragon emerged from the water. Lady Yang passed out, but dreamt that she had sex with the dragon. One could assume it was very hot. Soon after, Lady Yang was pregnant with Wu Zhao.
So she fucked a dragon.
She fucked a dragon.
Would you ever wank a dragon?
I feel like they would rip me apart.
They would.
And if I was
Answer the question.
It depends. What's in it for me? Do I get the dragon's powers?
I don't know.
Or is that just gonorrhea?
That might be something you have to talk to your doctor about.
All right. Back to the STD clinic I go.
That's the joke you're okay with?
Look, man, I just say things sometimes.
Now, speaking of dragon sex, why did people pretend that this was true? A, people believed a female sovereign couldn't have a mortal father. B, It gave Wu Shiwei cover to divorce Lady Young for cheating on him. Or C, no one was quite sure where babies came from.
Damn, it could be A or B. It could be like misogyny
Yeah.
or misogyny.
It's usually a pretty safe bet in the past and present.
What if it was true?
What if a dragon had sex?
You mean to tell me dragons aren't real? I'm gonna go with A.
I'm gonna go with B.
I just feel like that is par for the course with that misogynistic kind of era.
Okay. Whoa, that's gonna be a point for Ryan. It's misogyny. Yes, this sort of mythical retconning happens all the time with leaders. For instance, with the currently ruling Kim family in North Korea. It lends an air of inevitability to a person's reign, helping to deter anyone who thinks, why not me, from sparking a rebellion. Being dragonborn, of course, wasn't Wu Zhao's only mythologizing.
So she was like the first Khaleesi.
Oh, I guess so.
Is she gonna set the town on fire for no reason?
My moon and stars.
Yeah, it would be cool if she did have a bunch of
Yeah.
dragons around her, but as we have said...
The
it's
points are
not-
jelly beans.
You never know.
No, Joyce, we do know.
No.
No, yeah, they're not simply not real. I'm an intellectual.
But what about mysticism? Magic.
Oh, sure, it's fun. It's fun to believe in dragons. I get it. Moving right along. Looks like I'm breathing fire like a dragon. God, dragons are real, Professor. Oh, Dorothy Ruth, what's up? I'm in the middle of planning a wedding with my hot new lover, Elmer Walter Williams. It's a little stressful, but I just downloaded Dragon City, and it's helping me blow off a little steam. Oh, I didn't know you were getting married. Congrats. Sounds like you got over Stanley Melvin Murphy pretty quickly. Oh, yeah, I dropped him like a hot potato in that he died. Now, do you know what it feels like, Professor, to wield true power? To command your own dragon empire. Well, in Dragon City, you can collect, hatch, and evolve over 1,000 unique dragons. Oh, that's a lot of dragons.
For whatever reason, him and like one of the guys, Ryan Bagara, just got beef.
I never got around to calling a horse caterer. I was too busy having the time of my sexy female horse life, building my own customized dream city with magical habitats, buildings, and decorations. I even got into some over-the-top...
Honestly, if they ever see this live stream, dude, and like they're like, oh, this chick seems cool, I would go on this show in a heartbeat.
Natural at summoning my powerful dragon skills and strategies to conquer challenging quests and events.
Puppet history should absolutely. I want to banter with the blue puppet, dude. It just seems like a delight.
I don't miss Stanley Melvin at all. Download Dragon City by clicking the link on the screen or scan the QR code. You can get a special bundle with 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and the rare Fortune Dragon to get you started. Hey, now that's what I call a treasure. Thanks, Dorothy Ruth, and thanks to Social Point and Dragon City for sponsoring this video. Alrighty, back to my little babies. I'll catch you on the Clippity Clop, Professor. Alright, bye, Dorothy Ruth. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. When Wu was still a wee little baby, a face reader passed through the capital and read the fortunes of everyone in her family. When the face reader saw the baby, not knowing its gender, he reportedly said, if this is a boy, he will be in the highest rank of officialdom with great power. But if it is a girl, she will be the sovereign over the country.
Oh, Randy Feltface? I have. Honestly, iconic. Iconic Australian puppet.
Things were looking pretty auspicious for Wu.
I fucking love Randy Feltface.
Father fell ill and died. Dad had 2 sons from his first marriage, and they did not like Wu Zhao, her sister.
Also, I myself have a puppet. I don't know if I ever brought her out for this channel, but her name is Pippet.
Wu Zhao was in a particularly unfortunate position. Because she had learned calligraphy, art, and books, she did
Salt, have I brought out Pippet yet?
sought after in a young woman.
She got turned into Cinderella, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. She's too smart for her own good, or for society's good at this point.
It reminds me of that movie Cowbells that was on Disney Channel.
Tell us about that one.
Girls, super rich and bougie, and then they lost all their money and they had to work at like a dairy factory.
I was getting more like Handmaid's Tale vibes, but you know.
In 638, at the age of 14 and with few other options, Wu Zhao got an entry position at the palace as a junior concubine. Now that's no small feat, as author Jonathan Clements writes, quote, admission to the ranks of palace concubines was equivalent to winning a beauty
Oh
contest
no,
of
I
the most
didn't.
gorgeous women in the medieval world. Once employed, Wu gained attention from Emperor Taizong. When the emperor asked the palace women for advice about taming a stubborn horse, Wu said she could handle the beast so long as she was given an iron whip, an iron mace, and a knife. She explained, if the iron whip does not bring him to obedience, I will use the iron mace to cut his head. And if that does not do it, I will use the dagger to cut his throat.
She a city girl. Yeah, beat him up.
We'll make it work.
Beat him up.
Not exactly the best thing, though. You're like, hey, can you tame my horse? Like, yeah, I'll cut its throat.
I don't condone animal abuse, but I enjoy female violence.
Yes, female violence, A+. Is that what I want to say? While whipping, bonking, then killing a horse hardly feels like it qualifies as handling a horse, Wu's approach nevertheless impressed Taizong. For the next 10 years, Wu served as Taizong's personal secretary, gaining the skills she'd later need to conduct state affairs. In 646, Emperor Taizong fell ill, and per tradition, the crown prince Li Zhi stayed with him, feeding the emperor and giving him medicine. There, Li Zhi and Wu began a flirtatious relationship. Now, this was pretty taboo. Any relationship between a concubine and the emperor's son
We're good, everyone.
would have been considered incestuous. But Wu was looking for any room for advancement she could.
I don't think I could personally do anything sexually with somebody who had done things sexually with my dad. I don't want to think about that, and I'm not going to even talk about it more because now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, we're not here to think about
I didn't bring up Pippin?
Sex. No.
While being the emperor's personal secretary seems like a pretty good place to be, when you're in the concubine department, that is not the way up. Wu was still a 5th rank concubine. Basically, a maid with dozens of women.
Okay, hold on. I gotta finish this line of thread and then I'll bring her out.
So, what was the real
So, in other words, you're stuck with me for a bit, guy.
The emperor's baby. B. Murdering the concubines ahead of her. Or C. There really wasn't any.
It's a big letter.
All right, Ryan, what you got?
I got A. I'm not writing anything clever.
Joyce, how about you?
I also put A, and then I put a little smiley face in the corner.
Well, points to both of you. Because you both got the right answer.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yes, per custom, when you were a concubine and your emperor died, you would shave your head and be relegated to a Buddhist convent for the rest of your life. Sick. Unless you'd managed to get knocked up by the emperor. Only then would special considerations be made.
Hell yeah.
Even those were pretty loud.
Hang on to that shit, boy.
Confined to your chambers. What? Yeah, now hang on a sec.
So exhausting being
Per
alone.
custom. Yeah, you better bet your ass I'd be poking holes in that condom. Fuck
Oh,
that, dude.
no, I would just never get out.
Yeah, I'm doing what I have to do to get pregnant.
Yeah, I would take that dick like a football.
Right.
Unfortunately for her, Wu never got pregnant by Emperor Taizong. So when he died, it was off to the nunnery. However, the flirtatious seeds she planted with Li Zhi, now Emperor Gaozong, began to sprout. The emperor began visiting Wu at the convent, and soon Wu was pregnant with her first son, Li Hong, born in 652.
That's what good poom poom do, baby. I love women.
I love women too. Ryan, do you love women?
Do you?
Yeah, of course. What the fuck?
Interesting.
We're fucking
Took
sure.
a minute. That was a test, and you passed.
You did.
Back in the palace, Emperor Gaozong's wife, Empress Wang, was upset, but not at Wu. Wang had borne no children for the emperor, but the top concubine, Concubine Xiao, had given Gaozong a son and 2 daughters. Empress Wang felt threatened by Xiao and needed a plan to get rid of her. Wang turned her attention then to Wu. Figuring Wu could take Xiao's place as Gaozong's favorite concubine, Wang sent word to Wu that she should stop shaving her head.
You're throwing out a lot of names here. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
So the wife can't have any kids, unfortunately. Then there's this lady, concubine Zhao.
Concubine Zhao is popping them out.
But the emperor's like, I'm still feeling boo. Like, I've been in love with her since I was like 17, and that booty's so fat.
There's literature that quotes him saying, booty's so fat.
Right on a scroll.
So the empress went to Wu and said, this concubine Zhao, she's gotta go.
Right.
So I'm gonna need you to stop shaving your head, bit, and come back to the dang palace so that we can keep our man in check.
Exactly right.
Okay.
4 years after entering the convent, Wu was invited back to the palace, now a Jiaoyi, or second-rank concubine. She'd taken a lot of risks, but they'd paid off with a huge promotion. Still, she wasn't satisfied. She wanted the top spot, and she would do anything to get there. In court, Wu was a charming, generous, and friendly presence, winning the favor of the empress and other servants. In addition to Li Hong, Wu gave birth to 3 more sons. Li Xian, hilariously, a second Li Xian, and Li Dong. After those boys, Wu gave birth to a 5th child, a daughter who was reportedly adored by the emperor. Wu, however, saw in the girl an opportunity for yet another promotion in the palace. Ooh, so what was Wu's plan? A. Kill the daughter, then frame Empress Wang for the murder. B. Have her daughter marry concubine Xiao's son. Or C. Threaten to send the daughter away unless she got promoted.
I think if she's really an evil, diabolical baddie.
Okay, Ryan, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with A. Assassinate the wife. I'm not gonna erase my glossary here.
Okay. Joyce, what do you got?
I also got A.
More double A's! Batteries! Let's do our battery graphics here.
Battery.
Oh, I see.
No.
That's a battery.
That's a new one this season. We're having a lot of fun with it, as you can tell.
I can tell.
Well, we're gonna find out via the magic of theater. I'll see you guys in just a bit. Bye-bye!
I love these plays.
Yeah, sure. She seems like a pretty diabolical lady. I think she's gonna...
I mean, if I had to pop pussy to get social advancement in my society, I would turn into the absolute devil.
Ah, there she is, my second-rank concubine, Wu, mother of my most recent daughter, who I love very much and is the apple of my eye. Yes, that's who I am, the loving mother of that girl you just described. Where is that daughter? I do love her so much. Oh, she's right over there. Super alive, I presume, since your wife, Empress Wang, was just hanging out with her, alone. Well, how specific of a circumstance. Yep, let me just go check on her. Oh my god. Our daughter's been like strangled or something and is dead now. Oh no. What? How could this have happened? Oh man, you don't think it was like your wife who did it and strangled her out of jealousy, do you? Man, something like that would be so bad. That would be very bad. Oh god, that's it. Empress Wang is now dismissed. Same with concubine Xiao. Wu, you're my empress now. Oh, hell yeah, that plan worked like a charm. The what worked like a huh? Nothing. Oh, shit, what a bummer about our daughter, though. Wow! That was fun.
Cool to see the Emperor. Surprised he was wearing what he was wearing. I thought with the amount of sex that guy was having, he was wearing one of those rip-away pants that basketball players wear. Just...
Or one of those hydration suits from Doom.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, points to both of you, yeah! Hell yeah, you guys are doing great this episode.
Good stuff.
Now, apologies if you thought our story was all horse bonking and dragon sex, but Wu allegedly strangled her own daughter and framed Wang, thereby installing herself as empress.
That's really sad. I'm sorry to the daughter.
It's always good to make extras.
Yeah.
That's my theory. That's why I make 13 cookies instead of 12.
Wait, is that why they do a baker's dozen?
Yeah, well, it's because you eat the extra cookie as the baker.
What? Wait, is that
I
why?
had no idea.
Wait, are you serious?
Is that why?
Yeah, that's why it's called a baker's dozen, so the baker could eat the cookie.
To see how it tastes?
This is a bit, right?
Do I get a jelly? Wait, no, you get a jelly bean for that. I didn't even know that.
I feel like everyone does it.
No, I just thought they made 13 because it's like, oh, a little discount.
I mean, I could be wrong. Now you're making me doubt that I'm right. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I know I make an extra so that I can have it. Because you're a little picky. Yeah, and also maybe I can use it to leverage things. And I'll have the same approach when it comes to children.
Now, some stories continue, saying that Wu then had Wang and Xiao's limbs cut off, and then their bodies tossed into a vat of wine, where they would drown, since, they could no longer swim. But those are probably just legends, right?
At least they died drunk.
I guess.
Damn.
That would be my strategy. If that was a pool of tequila, though.
Oh no, I love tequila. I just get a whiffer and then I could like punch a wall.
A whip? Now, putting aside the horrific way she got there, in 655, Wu Zhao was 31 years old and the Empress of China. Not everyone was stoked about this new lady sitting next to Emperor Gaozong, especially those in the court who had worked for his dad. As I mentioned before, folks were creeped out at the idea of an emperor having any interaction with his dad's concubine. Sensing the discomfort, Wu worked quickly to solidify her position. Wu built a system of informers and used them to get rid of rivals and potential enemies, often with torture or forcing them to commit suicide. Yikes. She had the heads, and only the heads, of 2 rebellious princes brought to the palace. Wu also had Gaozong depose the crown prince and instead make Wu's eldest son, Li Hong, the new crown prince, ensuring no one had any big ideas about getting rid of her by killing her hubby.
Well, look, she's obviously not born into a great situation. On the other hand, though, she is a monster.
Yeah.
But I'm still looking at her like, damn, that's a bad bitch. Am I toxic?
Just imagine if this lady was born a man.
Very scary. Her power more secure with each passing execution, Wu suddenly had yet another stroke of good fortune. Gaozong suffered a stroke. Now blind, Gaozong entrusted all government affairs to his wife, who kept consolidating her power with ruthless tactics. When her cousins and niece visited the palace in 666, Wu felt the niece drew too much attention from Emperor Gaozong. Wu poisoned her niece's meal, which killed her, then blamed her cousins, who were executed, allegedly exacting revenge for when the cousins were mean to her mother and sister after her father's death.
People don't forget.
They'll never forget.
Do a kindness to everyone you meet, you know? Otherwise, maybe they'll poison you.
This is very helpful to my anxiety, who thinks anything I do wrong is going to be remembered forever.
While she was ruthless when it came to holding on to power, the actual ruling she did wasn't so bad. In 674, Wu wrote a memo to her husband, basically laying out a bunch of suggested government reforms to increase agricultural production, decrease taxes, improve morale, encourage governmental criticism, and appoint officials based on ability instead of birth. The emperor agreed, and the new laws were extremely influential for Chinese society moving forward.
So she just had to do all that bad stuff.
Dude, Puppet History, man. It's a bop.
Wu's title also improved to Heavenly Empress, finally becoming the Wu Zetian history most remembers her as. Ze meaning example, and Tian meaning heaven.
What were their backup ideas? Amazing emperor? Big emperor?
Epic emperor.
Big sexy guy. Emperor. Now, rumors continued to swirl about Wu using her own family to consolidate power. Wu's first son, the crown prince Li Hong, didn't listen to his mother and preferred doing his own thing. When he died in 675 at the young age of 24, some suspected Wu of poisoning her own son to install a more obedient crown prince. Her next son, the first Li Xian, was made crown prince, but only for a few years. In 680, palace guards were sent to search Li Xian's residence, where they found a bunch of armor and weapons, supposedly a sign that Li Xian was planning a coup. A pretty odd thing for the crown prince to do. Li Xian was confined to the palace, and his younger brother, also named Li Xian, was made crown prince.
So she just here to murk him so she could say empress as long as possible.
Yeah, basically.
She had kids so she could take her day out on them, essentially.
Yeah, I guess. In 683, Heavenly Emperor Gaozong died, elevating that Li Xian to the title of Emperor Zhongsong. In Gaozong's will, he explicitly stated that, quote, if Zhongsong cannot decide on any important national or military affairs, he should go to Heavenly Empress, who will make final decisions. Basically telling his son, listen to your mother. Wu was 59 at the time, and now the Empress Dowager. By then, she'd had a lot of experience running China, and had grown an eye for seeing where potential threats could come from. With her son now the Emperor, she saw one challenger in particular looming in the wings. Oh, so, who was Wu nervous about? A. The first Li Xian, the former crown prince, still confined in the palace. B. Her youngest son, Li Dong, who was jealous he wasn't on the throne. Or C. Emperor Zhongsong's wife,
Empress Wei, who was a schemer, just like Wu.
I'm gonna go with C. My thought is the only person a powerful woman would fear is another powerful woman.
Okay.
Her daughter-in-law.
Yeah, man.
I also put C.
Oh, let's.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right.
Come on, Ryan, we're friends now.
You ready? You ready for this grand fucking reveal, Salt?
Client's still here this
Oh, there are my scissors.
The battery.
They were under my ass.
Yeah, well, we're working on that one. Okay, well, once more, we're gonna find out via the magic of theater. I'll see you guys in just a bit. Bye-bye.
I just love when he puts a little puppet show. You know.
Hi. This is a very awkward angle.
That feels so formal.
Hold on.
How about you just call me Emperor Sun? Okay, Emperor Sun. What can I do for you? Well, you know how Dad said I should ask you if I'm stuck on a decision? Well, I'm stuck. My wife, Empress Wei, she wants to make her dad a prime minister. Which
I
think
exist.
is a good idea. Oh,
I've been
do you? Yeah.
on a shelf
Say that sucks. So I'm like, I'm the
for
emperor.
months.
I mean, I could give my father-in-law the whole
It's
empire
so
if I wanted.
dusty.
I mean, you know?
And there's ants.
I see. Yeah.
There's ants.
What do you think I should do? Well, hon,
They bite me.
should be deposed. Huh? Yeah. You can't joke about stuff
I
like
hate
getting
it.
out of the empire. That's like really bad. So I'll tell you what.
Give me
You're
attention
the emperor now.
so I can get off the shelf.
I hope you think about how much this hurts me to do. Wait, are you serious? Yes. Guards! Oh, no.
Help me.
Oh, you're wrong.
We're totally wrong. Yeah, we were joking.
Whoa! No,